purpose of this video today is to discuss how to use the databases that are available at William Carey in order to find information for your annotated bibliography, which will be used in your research paper. The library offers lots and lots of information through the online databases, so most students who are in online classes never actually even have to go to the library in order to find what it is that they're looking for. In order to find the online library databases and to utilize them, you'll need to go to the William Carey login page, which is www.wmcarey.edu, and then you're going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there's going to be a tab at the bottom that is labeled Library. So whenever you click on the Library tab, it'll open up and you're going to have some different options. One of the things that I want to show you first of all is this one up here that's called Distance Learners. Once you click on the Distance Learners tab, it's going to open up and give you some different links to click on that is going to provide you with a list of questions that'll be able to answer information for people who are taking online classes. And of course, when you click on each one of the tabs, it'll take you down here and answer the individual questions. The first one is very simply, do you have a question for us? And of course there are tabs here that you can use to click on if you need to ask a librarian anything, if you need to look up specific answers. And then one that I think that is really useful is this Text Us, to where you can actually text the librarians in order to ask questions that you have, and then to call the library to go the old traditional route. Here's a tab that explains the research databases and then using books from the library. Each one of these is extremely useful for people that are taking online classes, and there's also one over here at this Help tab. There's a link that you can click on that's called Schedule a Personal Consultation, and you'll see here that it says that you have to have 48 hours before the consultation in order for it to be set up. But this is where you can meet with someone one-on-one. Several of you can get together and meet, one of you individually can meet or whatever, but you could explain to them exactly what it is that you're looking for, and then they'll be able to set up a consultation with you and speak one-on-one. The classes at Carey, because they're on the trimester system, move very fast, so if you're going to do a consultation, keep in mind that it can't be something that is instant. It has to be something that is set up at least 48 hours prior to the deadline. Okay, so when we go back and we click to the first library page that we had, I want to point out to you down here at the bottom that there's a little tab that says Research, and of course you see that you have different choices here to limit to just looking at the databases, to look at ebooks, journal titles, and so forth. But I want to point one out to you here called Databases by Subject, because you'll see here that you have a whole list of databases that are limited specifically by subject, and one of the ones for English students that'll be very important is going to be this little Literature tab up here. Anytime you're writing a paper that's specifically on a literary topic, you're going to be able to look for the databases that are related to literature by going under that Research tab, limiting by subject, and going to this particular topic. Now, our first paper that we're going to write in this class is going to be an argument paper, where you're going to take a side on an issue. And what I want to do is kind of just briefly go through and show you from this main page here that we have how to search the databases and to basically search through everything that's available at Carey by going through that Search Everything tab. Let's assume that we're going to work on a topic such as obesity. If you type in obesity and you go through and you give it the option to search, you're going to see that it's going to pull up and it's going to ask you, first of all, do you want to log in for full access? And I'm going to encourage you definitely that you want to do that, because in order to get full access to what it is that you're doing, you're going to have to log in. So I'm going to log in, and once I am logged in, you're going to be able to see that you're going to have lots and lots of different choices here related to just the broad topic of obesity. It tells you that there's over 1 million possible options here. What I want you to do each time that you go through, because we're looking for sources that are going to be full text and sources that are in the last 5 years, you're going to have to go over here and limit these parameters by choosing, first of all, full text, and then if we're looking at the last 5 years, since it's 2015, we want to go through and choose 2010, and then of course the default on that is going to be 2016 if you have any medical journals that have already updated a couple of months in advance. So it's okay to leave 2010 to 2016. That's perfectly fine as long as this date right here is the one that is set for us. Now you're going to look and see here that all of these dealing with obesity are PDF full text articles. Some of these up here are HTML full text. Now the difference between HTML and PDF is going to be that this is going to be basically a web page that you'll read from, and the PDF full text is going to be a scanned page that you're going to read from. If you're looking at the HTML, you're not going to have page numbers that go along specifically with those, but with the PDF files you're going to have page numbers that you'll be able to document specifically which page the information comes from. So let's look at, just for instance, we're going through and we're searching on this particular topic, obesity, and my topic is going to be, my argument was that I think that the government should monitor obesity specifically in children. So I see this article and I think, well, this is something that I'm going to be able to use. In order to read the abstract of the article, to be able to read a little bit about what the article is going to be about, typically you can click on this, and if there is an abstract provided, it's going to give it here to you, but it gives you all the information about where this actually comes from. You see the authors, you see the source, you see the information about where this particular article actually came from, the volume number, issue, date, and so forth, and you even see the name of the database in which it came. What we need to do whenever we're looking at this and we see that we're clicking on this particular topic of obesity in children, we see that it gives us this information, and we went here. And one of the useful things about the databases, and the reason why I strongly encourage you to be able to use them, is over here on the right hand side of the screen it gives you options that you can actually email a copy of this to yourself. You can save the permalink so that you can come back to it, or one of the things that all of you are going to have to use whenever you're doing this is this little tab here, which is called Cite. If you click on this, it's going to pull up different options for you, and this one falls under the heading of citation format. There are several different ways that you can set up bibliography entries when you're doing research papers. The American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, Chicago, Turabian, and so forth. You have lots of different options, but what our papers are going to be written in, and the style that we're going to use in order to document our information, is going to be MLA, according to the Modern Language Association. Some of you, when you take education classes or you take classes in the social sciences, are going to have to use APA later on, but for our class we're going to be using MLA. So what I'd like for you to do is look down here at the citation, and it shows you specifically how to set up a bibliography entry using MLA format. It gives you the name of the author in the correct order, the name of the article title, the name of the source, the page numbers, the date, database, the fact that it came from the web, and then the date of access, which is the date that you actually found it. All of this information is explained to you in detail in the Norton Field Guide as far as how to set up MLA information so that you can double check to be sure that this is set up correctly, because a lot of times this is going to be set up exactly as it should be, but sometimes you're going to get people who key in the information and they maybe put the name, first name, then last name, and it's not set up in the appropriate format, or they use all caps. So be sure to always double check according to the textbook to determine if this is set up correctly. And you can basically just copy and paste this information and put it into a Word document, and in that Word document you can organize, use the correct font, set it up, and do what it is that you need to do in order to use this bibliography. In order to access the article, you're going to of course click on the PDF full text, and it's going to open up the file for you so that you can read. And you will have to read through these individual articles because you want to be able to be sure that the article itself actually supports what it is that you're saying about your topic. Read through the article, and then in order to prepare your annotated bibliography, you'll basically set up the MLA bibliography citation, and then you'll do a summary of what this article says. You'll summarize the article into your own words, paraphrasing the information that is given to you there. Now, whenever we're looking at a topic such as obesity, uh, one of the things that you need to be very aware of is that obesity in it of itself is a very broad topic. Um, so you can go through and limit parameters um, by typing in keywords such as government control of obesity and see whether or not there's anything that the databases has that's going to talk about those types of things. And of course, check your parameters once again. You'll see here that there's information about this particular topic. You can go through and further search other topics such as obesity in children, um, obesity in teens, obesity in adolescents. You can do any of those particular topics to kind of limit the parameters that you have, and you still have the option of choosing the full text article, setting the dates, finding the bibliography information as I showed you, um, in order to determine whether or not this article is something that can be used in your research paper later on.